What I've really learned is that contraction, that like, no, I can't, is actually your signal to do it. Yeah. And this shows up for me in writing too, and posting things. It's like when you feel that, oh, what will people think? What if I'm not good enough? What if they think I'm weird? What if I'm off pitch? What if I write something that offends someone? What if all of those stories? What you're tapping into is a frequency and energy of people that don't resonate with what you're going to say, right?
Yeah.
But the world is polarity.
Welcome to the Enlighten podcast, the enlightened journey of life. Because we're not just here to chase enlightenment, we are here to live life, to embody all aspects of ourselves, to bring the sacred into every day. I'm your host, Jen Hamilton, self-mastery mentor, tantra guide, and sacred rebel at heart. This podcast is a devotion to the art of knowing thyself. Through solo snippets, raw musings, and deep conversations with epic guests, we explore the sacred, the sensual, and the spiritual, diving deep into self-exploration and always leaving you with something to take away. This isn't just a podcast, it's a portal to awaken, to liberate, to remember who you truly are. It is an honor to have you here. Let's get enlightened. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Enlighten podcast. I'm your host, Jen, and my very special guest today is Dom Kimber. Dom is a holistic copywriter, sound healer, and energy worker who helps women find their true voice and actually use it. Through a unique blend of aligned storytelling, frequency work, and emotional truth-telling, Dom supports her clients to reclaim the parts of themselves that they've been taught to hide, and especially in their business messaging. Her work explores how language holds power and how the stories we carry, the shame we suppress, and the frequencies we ignore can all shape the way we show up in the world. Dom sessions, whether through words or sound, invite you to peel back the programming, claim your space, and speak from the deepest part of who you are. No more shrinking, no more maybe, just truth, resonance, and clarity. It was so special to have Dom on the show. She was such an angel, and I felt like we had so much in common from the get-go. So I'm so excited for you to hear this episode. So without further ado, let's dive in. Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Enlighten podcast. I'm your host, Jen. I am joined by the beautiful Dom Kimber. Welcome, Dom.
Well, thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to dive into this conversation because we were talking a little bit off air about some of the things that we wanted to dive into today. And I feel like it's going to be epic because you do some amazing things in the world. You're a soulful copywriter. You do energy work. Tell us about you. Who is Dom?
Oh, wow. Like I'm a words person. So like be prepared that I can talk. I've got a lot that I could speak into, but gosh, there's so much I could say. I'm a holistic copywriter as a start. That's what my kind of core business is. But that in itself has been such a huge evolution, and there's a huge journey that we can dive into there, and a story that I'm so excited to share, because I think that so often as women in business, we can put ourselves in boxes of what we've created and be afraid to change our mind, change our opinions, to allow the expansion and to step into something new because we're so used to these safe places that we've created. I'm also a sound healer. So I've been a singer forever, and this is another journey of evolution here where I've gone from being quite performative. I was in the National Children's Choir of Great Britain. I have done weddings and stuff like that, to being now just fully in this place of energy channeling and expression that feels that in itself has been a huge journey to get to that point where I felt safe. So there's a theme of safety appearing.
I can see that. Yeah, I love this.
Yeah. And I kind of weave my energy work and my holistic copywriting business and content creation business. They kind of intertwine and weave and complement each other.
Yeah, I love this. What brought you on this journey? Did you have like a big old holy fuck moment that was like, bam, like lightning, where you're like, I've got to do this thing? Or was it a slow progression and evolution of self?
Well, with the business, so with my copywriting business, it was born when I became a mother pretty much, because I realized I was a journalist and I was working as a journalist. You work very long hours and for very little payback, and they're not typically family friendly. And, you know, just as a side note, I thank my lucky stars that I got out of that industry when I did as well. And that's a whole nother thing. But at the time, it was just me trying to find myself in the world again. You know, I feel like when I became a mother, I really, like lots of women, felt, well, where's that sense of self gone? What am I here for? Like, where's my purpose outside of changing nappies and being in the home? And so the business was born from that, a need for freedom, a need for something for me. And at that time, I was very deeply in strategy and understanding how, so with copywriting, there's a lot of sort of, it's called SEO, you might have heard.
Yes.
That goes on, a lot of optimization and sort of strategic work that goes behind the scenes when you create anything for digital. And so I was very deeply immersed in that part of the copywriting world. And fast forward kind of 10 years. Well, if we go to COVID in 2020.
Let's go there.
And there was like this moment of like, and I think this is very common, right? But something's not working.
I think a few of us had a little moment of like, something's not right here.
Wait a minute. And so I really began to look within myself to find myself in deeper layers and deeper levels. And what then has occurred over the last 5 years is this real coming of self for me, this real inner work that has gotten me to a point where I feel like I know myself more deeply than I ever have. And when I started to reflect on my business, it just did not feel in alignment anymore. And so I found myself in this state of, again, well, who am I then? If I'm not this thing that I've created, who actually am I? What am I here for? And it was a discovery process to understand how the me that I am now actually still sinks into a world that I love, which is writing, expression, communication, storytelling.
Yeah, beautiful. And so is this just something like, do you see clients for this? Do you teach this to other people? What does it look like now?
Yeah, I work with clients. I've worked with all kinds of clients. You know, I've gone from working with global brands like, you know, brands like Nespresso and, you know, Jack's and big healthcare brands, and to small businesses that are on the Sunshine Coast where I live. And so I've kind of worked across the whole spectrum. More and more and more, I'm just feeling a pull to less about the size or the impact of on a sort of geographical scale, and more to the energy of the businesses that I work with. So it's a real calling to their story and their message that they want to share.
And that's what we need, because with the rise of AI and all of the things at our fingertips, writing is losing personality, I feel. It's losing the essence. You can tell. You can tell when someone's flavor is not in something.
100%. It's one of those things. It's such an interesting time because we're so oversaturated with content now. Like every man and his dog is creating content.
It's like the new personal trainers.
It's easy. Like ChatGPT will help you spit out, you know, 10
whatever
posts a day, whatever. But the issue here is that it becomes quite obvious when someone's energy is in something and when it isn't. And when someone's just posting for validation or to tick a box versus from the heart and has something to share.
Yes, I always say it's being a slut to the algorithm.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
And I got caught up in that for a little bit. I was like, yeah, got to do reels, got to post this, got to post it at this time, got to do the trending audio. And I was like, I fucking can't. Like, I just know if I'm sharing content, it's when I'm ready and it's because something is channeling through me that I know is speaking to people that can hear it.
Yeah.
Because it's me sharing what I want to share.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, unless we're injecting ourselves into what we're sharing, we're just regurgitating what's already out there.
Exactly.
Without that, which, I mean, look, everything's already been said to a point, really.
Yeah, it's true.
So the point of difference is your heart and soul.
Exactly.
And I think that's what we're in this phase at the moment, where everybody's on this train of like, go, 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 get as much out as possible. And there's just that piece lacking. So you can look at it as a negative, but I actually see it as a huge opportunity for businesses that are ready to step into their story and their heart and their soul.
Because ChatGPT cannot tell your story the way that you do it. You know, that it can't share the depth of emotion that you can by speaking into something that you've experienced. Yeah, it's a big one. I'd love to hear your journey with your voice and singing, because I actually didn't know this about you. And I love this because I'll speak into it afterwards. Just the alignment and timing of you being here today. I'm like, oh, hey, universe.
Always.
Tell me about your opening of your throat chakra and your voice. Tell me about that.
Well, I've really sung for forever. Like, from, as you know, there's videos, like old VHS videos of me as like a 4-year-old just strutting my stuff and singing on camera. And it's just something I've always done. But what ended up happening was I got put into singing lessons very early, and lots of like that professional sort of vocal training. It was classical training where I was taught operatically, actually. And it became a real sense of duty that I was doing it for my grandfather, who was the one that really led it. He was a singer himself. And then for, you know, my parents who were paying the bills for me to do it. And it became from a sense of obligation and very performative, rather than expressive. And something got lost and something got suppressed in me through that. And so I continued to sing, you know, bits and bobs. You know, I would sing at family events or like at karaoke, or like my husband plays guitar, so we would play a bit together. But it's kind of the same as what we were talking about with the copyright. It was missing something.
Yeah.
I was singing the words and the notes, and it sounded great. Like everyone would always be so beautiful and compliment me on how it sounded and how they felt when they heard me. But there was something missing for me, and it still felt like it was lacking that authentic expression. And I think actually one of the turning points for me was that my brother asked me to sing at his wedding. And one of the songs I was singing, the whole reception started singing back to me. And so I started to receive while I was giving. So it wasn't just me giving, I was actually receiving the energy back from the whole room. And the frequency of that creation sparked something in me.
Wow.
Where I was like, oh, I get to feel something. I get to resonate in this frequency. I get to, like, this is not just me doing something for someone. This is actually something that I can expand through. And that was a spark for me. And New Year's came along and we sang at a New Year's event. And I made a decision out of nowhere that I was going to step into a journey around sound healing. Now, I did not own any sound instruments, like, other than my voice.
Yeah. The most powerful one of all.
Right. But like, it didn't even occur to me. This is how you know you're in alignment, right? The thoughts didn't drop in of, oh, I don't have a sound bowl, or I don't have this, or I've never done this before, so why would anyone sit with me in this? It didn't even occur. It was just full. The energy, the pull, the alignment was there. So I borrowed a sound bowl from my friend and I ran my first event.
Wow.
And since then, it's just, I feel like the lightest version of me I've ever been, the freest and most expressive version of me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where did that come from, do you think? Do you think it was like just a divine intervention moment? Was it your higher self pulling you forward and putting you in situations to find this? Like, where do you think that maybe came from?
Yeah, look, I'm really lucky that I have a circle of beautiful women in my life that are
Mm,
very conscious, and
mm,
we have very deep conversations around, our gifts, any
mhm,
activations,
mm,
awarenesses, just anything conscious living. And so I'm immersed in that day in, day out.
mm,
And when you are in that, you take a lot of radical self responsibility.
mhm,
And so rather than just being stuck in the thoughts of, oh, I just sing and I have to perform, I began questioning more and more of my thoughts around it. I
mm,
began curiously exploring why I would deny that from myself,
mm, mhm.
because I think it happens with everyone, men and women, but especially women. We
Mhm.
deny ourselves the things that bring us the most joy so much of the
Yeah.
time. And so I had a bit of an internal dialogue going on where I was really exploring in me, like, where are the places in my life where I am denying my joy?
Mhm.
And this was just one of them. And I've leaned into this not for a need of, you know, a number of people to come to my events or any external validation.
Mm.
It's just like, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be singing. Who wants to come? Like,
Yeah. And that's the most like incredible way of doing it because it's so natural. It's so authentic.
yeah, it fully is.
Yeah.
And it's actually crazy because I lose myself. I go fully into the channel when
Yes.
I'm doing my
Yeah.
sound healing. And I actually do events with my mom, who is a Pilates instructor and acupuncturist. So we do yin, pin, and sound
Oh my
events.
God, that sounds amazing.
Yeah,
I'm coming to one of
it's
these.
pretty magic. It is the combination. There's this real sweet spot there. But
Mm.
mom films me when I'm
Mm.
like toning and channeling, and I'm like, oh my God, is that what I look
Is
like?
that me?
Damn.
Damn.
I've got all the hands going, and I
Yeah.
don't realize I'm doing it. I forget that I'm playing the sound bowl because I'm just
You're in it.
purely
You're part of it. Yeah, you
in
are
the
that
magic.
frequency.
And so, yeah, what I feel like after each of those events is like, how is it possible to feel even more expanded than I was
Mm.
beforehand? Like, and I think that that's a real important thing for us to realize, is there's no end to the amount of joy, love, expansion that
Yes.
is in this world for us.
Yes.
So it's up to us whether we go get it.
Exactly. And what's the point in not? Like
Mm,
what's the point in sitting on the sidelines going, yeah,
yeah.
maybe, no, I'm too scared.
Yeah.
You don't live there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's really funny because my partner does a lot of singing. So
Mm.
he's part of a song circle over in Perth. He's, been in the choir. He's got an incredible
Oh,
voice.
beautiful.
And he's been having one-on-one lessons with a singing teacher and working with the Shruti box. And so really like working with like toning his voice and
Ooh.
he's phenomenal. And yet he's still got that, oh, I can't. He's got the contraction.
Mhm.
And he sings in front of me. I've sung around him, like or shower car, just sort of the
Mhm.
usual. And there's been this running thing now for us for a while where he's like, you don't sing around me. And I'm like, yeah, but like I perform for my children. Like they get the best of it. Like I'm talking like the bangers, like Celine
Ta-da!
Dion. Like we get in the car and it's like, I am Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Like
You're welcome.
exactly. And it's so funny because he's like, I want you to sing in front of me. And now there's like this pressure.
Yes.
And because I'm not like a trained singer, I have the thing where I'm like, I can't sing. Like I sing, but I can't sing,
Got it. Yeah.
And I think so many people have that. And so like my kids, they're just like, they just have to deal with it.
Mm.
And I said to Cass the other day, I'm like, I feel like we put this pressure on singing now because it's such a beautiful, natural thing. But now that there's pressure on it, it feels performative.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I feel that so many people get stuck in this trap as well
Mm.
because there's just something like we can talk and talk and talk and no one says anything or comments about your voice. The minute you try to add like a tone or a pitch or a tune to it, it's almost like there's this level of either projected judgment or self-judgment.
Yeah.
And it's really funny because a really beautiful friend of mine who lives in Adelaide is a very similar journey to yourself. She grew up and did singing lessons, classically trained. She was a performer for a very long time, and she had a vocal studio down in Adelaide up until last year.
Yeah.
And so it was always funny because I wouldn't want to sing around her. I'm like, but what if she judges me?
Oh, right.
Yet of all people, having a vocal studio, she teaches people how to sing. And she said the hardest thing is for people to stand in front of a teacher when they say, okay, let's just, start singing to see where you're at. And people are like, this is so hard for me. Why is that? From your experience, what have we done to ourselves that we've just either forgotten or not trusted using our own voices? This episode of the Enlifen podcast is proudly sponsored by the Sanctuary of Self, your portal to self-discovery and creating a sanctuary within. At the Sanctuary of Self, our philosophy is rooted in the belief that true transformation begins with knowing yourself deeply. Here you will find my signature programs. It's the home of all of my Tantra offerings, including in-person sessions in Brisbane, workshops and trainings all around Australia. I invite you to start with the Flourish Collective membership, a nurturing sanctuary for personal growth and transformation. This membership offers a greenhouse of resources, including workbooks, meditations, and soulful self-paced practices designed to help you cultivate alignment, purpose, and self-love. At only $44 per month with no lock-in contract, you can access an abundance of resources, videos, ebooks, meditations, and workshops with new content added monthly. Head to sanctuaryofself.love for all the juicy details.
Yeah, look, I think there's definitely a piece for a start just as a society, how we really just have impossible standards of like, this is the gold standard. And if you don't look like this, sound like this, act like this, earn this much, then you not
can't
it.
sit with us. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And I think that there's a freedom in rejection of that, right? But it doesn't come without the crunch. And that's what you're talking about. It's that sticky, like inner voice. If you've got any dialogue inside you that's telling you that you're not you're not good enough, you're not in whatever space it is, it's going to get really loud when you start to lean into it. I mean, I used to watch videos of myself and I'd hyper criticize every single second. I would literally shake in my body and cringe, that full body, when you have a bad memory.
Yeah, and you're like, and you want to roll over. You're like, you're restless.
Hide,
You're
like, I'm going to go into
it's the contraction, isn't it?
Right. What I've really learned is that contraction, that like, no, I can't, is actually your signal to do it. Yeah. And this shows up for me in writing too. I'm posting things. It's like when you feel that, oh, what will people think? What if I'm not good enough? What if they think I'm weird? What if I'm off pitch? What if I write something that offends someone? What if all of those stories? What you're tapping into is a frequency and energy of people that don't resonate with what you're going to say, right?
Yeah.
But the world is polarity. So both exist.
Yes.
So when you lean into that space, sure, you're going to have people that don't resonate, and all of those things might come up as triggers for them for their own reason, like that's nothing to do with us. The same's also possible on the polarity where someone hears your courage or hears your sound and goes, oh my God, now I can. It lights something up with them. And so I think when you get that contraction that, oh no, I shouldn't because, or what if, that is your signal of potency. Because it's your signal that it's going to evoke reaction on the other side, be it positive or negative, because both exist.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, the version of you that exists in someone else's mind is none of your business.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because most of the time, if you're triggering something for someone else, you're just a character in their movie, man.
Exactly. Exactly that. Yeah. And so when you started to really work and activate your voice in this way and channel through that, did you notice the difference in your writing at that point as well?
Yeah, look, I think overall it's just been an embodiment of of a version of me that I didn't actually truly knew existed. And when I say a version of me, maybe it's not a version of me. It's just that I've allowed more parts of me to come up and to be seen. And some of that is actually honoring the shadow, right? Is honoring that part of you that hyper criticizes yourself, that, anything that you deem as bad or negative, right? It's honoring that part, witnessing that part of you, and then leaning forward anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you feel as though like people need singing lessons to tap into that, or is it something that they can just work with and go into that channeled state, or work with a sound bowl, or just connect with their voice? Like if someone's like, I want to use my voice, I want to sing, but where do I even start?
Yeah, I think there's no one size fits all here.
Yeah.
I think we are all going to be divinely guided to the best path that is going to allow us to activate our expression. And, if you've been thinking about singing and not knowing where to start, and you start, meeting people who sing and like seeing singing lessons around or whatever, it's like maybe those are your signals of which direction to go. And that doesn't mean that it's the destination. It's just a path for you to lean in to get started, you know? And for others, it's just might be the permission. All it might be needed is the permission to sit in your garden with a sound bowl and let go. Forget the neighbors, forget the whatever. Don't worry about the technique. Just allow whatever wants to come through to come through. So I think it's trusting that if you lean in, the right path for you will be shown. And that's not just with singing, it's in everything, right?
Yes, how we are in small ways is how we are in all ways. And so if you can do it in one area, it reflects in all of the other areas. It's really funny because I talk a lot, a podcast, hosting, coaching, mentoring, all of the things, right? Yet when it comes to singing, there's still that sort of like, ooh. And Cass actually said to me, we're actually on the phone, I think it was this morning, he's like, oh, great, when you come to Perth in a couple of days, we can sing together. Yeah. And there's a part of me that's like, I will always lean into the discomfort because I know the magic of that.
Yes.
But I feel like I could like do a hell of a lot more things. Like I love skydiving, bungee jumping, all of that kind of stuff. I could make a whole list of things I'd want to do before singing in front of him.
Yeah.
That's an edge for me.
Yeah. And look, I had a similar experience because and it may not resonate, but my husband plays guitar and he so freely expresses himself, and he'll sing. He's not, typically what you would call a singer, but he does it anyway.
Yes.
Right. And he, since we have met, has been like wanting to make music with me. And it's been one of those few places that I still feel like that. Yeah. And because I've now developed this muscle in me that goes, when I feel those things, I know it's not actually about him, it's about me. It's something that's going on in here. And I've sat with it and I'm like, what actually is occurring here where I'm contracting when the person I love, who freely expresses himself, just wants to create magic with me, doing something that I know that I love. And what it came down to was his freedom was something that my body wanted and hadn't yet accessed. So while I have unlocked so many parts of me that now feels free to express, there is still obviously a fragment there that he is displaying to me that I want, right? So his freedom, his flow, his lack of care of what anybody else thinks of him, I want to embody even more of that. And he's just showing me the next level of what's possible.
Yeah. Yeah, isn't that interesting? And because Cass even says to me, like, he's like, oh, but I'm not confident to sing. I hate having to do like solos. And I'm like, have you heard you? Like, you are incredible. You've got a beautifully toned voice. And I think to myself, I'm like, well, if you feel that way, I'm going to be a lot worse than you. So therefore I'm going to hold back. And it's almost like I need him to lead and go first in this, which he is. He's leading incredibly because he's like, I've got the Shruti box. We're going to just have a play, like we can go to Song Circle. And it's such it's funny because like your partner sees you naked. They see all parts of you. They see you when you get up in the morning. They see you at your worst. But to share your voice with them, like to share tone just coming out in a different way to words.
Yeah.
Where did we where do we start to put this pressure on ourselves? Like, when did we stop singing? Like, and I'm talking like in history here,
Yeah.
because it's never been a thing where we feel so pushed down, you know, but especially for women, you know, it's like we've just lost our voices.
Yeah, and I think that is symbolic throughout so many places in life, right? Where we feel afraid to speak our truth.
Yeah.
We feel afraid to express ourselves freely because what if we say the wrong thing? What if we offend someone? What if, and like we can take it back into history, and what were the consequences? What were the fallout? If we said the wrong thing, offended someone, maybe we'd be beaten, or maybe we'd be put to a stake, or you know what I mean?
We were just burnt for it.
Exactly. So there is a trauma through history around women free in their expression.
Yeah.
And so that's not something that is, and it'll be different for different family lines too.
Yes,
right?
That's true.
And so there's going to be different layers and different levels for people to unlock to get to that clearing. But I think perhaps we're in the first phase in history where we're actually beginning to take responsibility for our lineage and to go, okay, well, what actually needs to occur for the freedom here? What actually needs to occur to find that voice? What, all of it.
Yeah. It's funny because I've sat in plant medicine ceremonies before, and I felt almost like my voice activating and unlocking in that. And I remember one time we all got up in the yurt afterwards, we were all dancing and singing, and I really felt my voice come online. I felt so open. You're very open in those spaces anyway.
Yeah.
But I felt myself come online. And then as I started integrating back into the world, I felt that contraction again.
Yes.
And I feel as though I'm being called forward again to start to activate my voice in a different way. And I also feel like it's going to be one of the deepest journeys I get to go through as well.
Wow. I mean, one of the beautiful things about plant medicine journeys is your ego drops, right?
Yeah, doesn't it, Joss?
Yeah. And look, the ego is not a bad thing.
No.
It's here to protect us, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes, in many cases, it's sitting in the driver's seat.
Yes.
And we want to love on and respect and like show kindness to our ego because it just wants to protect us. But do we want it determining how we move in every aspect of life? Absolutely not.
No.
And so in plant medicine, when that ego drops, that's when you get to just express yourself free from that fear, free from that need to protect yourself. And there's something really beautiful about that. And I was in a plant medicine journey last year actually, and had I was shown, it sounds like this is probably the least technical professional explanation that you're going to hear around using energy in your expression. But I was shown that in life, so I was shown like had vines all around me. And the vines were representing the entanglements that I had with different people and how they would pull me in certain ways and attach onto me in other ways, and how that energy that was wrapped around my arms and my legs fed into my body. And that energy kind of sat there, right? And what I was shown in this journey, and this sounds ridiculous, but this is how I live my life now, is that you take that energy from those vines. There's no point trying to be in a life where you don't have the vines.
Yeah.
We all have entanglements. We've all got lessons to learn. We all have co-creations with different characters in our movie, right? But it's to take that energy and splat.
Technical, you heard it here first. Just go splat.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
So you take that energy, and I was showing it with like splat, that's a painting. Splat, that's a song. Like, so it's just this freedom and like almost empowerment of all of those things you actually think keep you tied down are the life force and the energy that you can use to create in this world. And the splat of it is like, release it, let it go, create it, and then it's no longer yours to worry about what people think, even if it's a splat on the wall.
Yes, I love that. And because it's all energy. And you can move it around and you can do things with it.
Yeah.
And I saw this, I journeyed recently actually, and I saw in there I even saw like this setup here that I've got with my podcast and the power of my voice, like what I get to share through this podcast and through sharing content online, the power of what I get to say, which is what we were talking about with the holistic copywriting. Is that when I speak because it's divinely channeled,
Mm-hmm.
or it's come from a part of me that gets to be expressed,
Mm-hmm.
that holds really strong intention to either inspire, support, or motivate others.
Right. And everything that we put out in this world, be it a
Mm.
conversation with someone, be it a painting you create, be a
Mm.
dance performance, a song, whatever it is, right? In
Mm.
whatever way, everything that we create in this world holds codes.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And those codes will just sort of percolate there, and people are going to
Mm.
interact with them in the exact way that they're meant to in this life.
Mhm.
And that's none of your business how that happens. It's not your responsibility.
Exactly.
And so it's about, like, yes, of course, there's inspiration and motivation. And of course, from a heartfelt place, that's how we want to splat.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the opposite. And that's just their contract in this world, is to interact with your creations in that way. And it's for their highest good anyway.
Always,
Yeah.
always that. I love that so much. What is it that you're finding? So people that are coming to your sound circles that you're doing, what are they experiencing through that?
This is the most, like, exciting thing about it, is it's different for everyone.
Yeah.
So I've had people tell me that they've had visions of dragons, and like they've had visions of another life. They've said, I've had another person tell me that they saw me in another life as like a priestess and a goddess. I've had people have physical activations where their legs are tingling, or they're feeling things that are trying to get their awareness in their body. So as the frequency of the sound is hitting there on a cellular level, they are feeling in their body where something needs to be cleared, or something needs their attention. There are tears that occur, like those kind of beautiful releases that are just so necessary. Yeah. There's sometimes, feelings, basically everything and anything, from visions of other realms to activations to just clearing of what's ready to be cleared in a space that is so beautifully safe and loving. And I guess my only wish for anyone that comes and sits in circle is that they have freedom and safety to be whatever it is that comes up, because frequency and sound has so much potency. Yes. And I can put it out there, and it's exactly what we've been talking about. I cannot know how any body is going to interact with it or what it's going to bring up, but it's okay, whatever it is.
Yes, yes. I love that, because it is all about safety to journey in these places. And I joke sometimes that like healing has become like a subscription model, kind of like pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
And I see, people going over and over and over again to certain things, or really big groups of, breath and ice baths, all of those things, right? Yeah. And there's something for everybody, and it's all perfect for wherever they're at in their journey. But I think everyone's ultimately just searching for safety, to just be. Yeah. It's that permission slip to just be. Yeah. And let things go, because it's in that space that we can just truly release what we need to release.
Yeah. And what I will say is things like sound journeys and, Reiki or massage or any of those things are beautiful, complementary experiences that can help you move through emotions and energy and whatnot. But here's the absolute truth, is we all have the power and potency within us. We don't need anything.
We don't need to outsource it.
No, there's no, actually, we do not need the external. Everything exists within us. We are heaven on earth. We have the ability to access all of it within ourselves. Yeah. But of course, it's an icing on the cake if you get to also, if you choose to do it in groups of supportive people. Yes. You just don't need it. It's beautiful, but it's not necessary.
I find, and like these, like you said, like these modalities are incredible. It's when they become a vice, or that you're relying on them so much to provide you something. At some point, you've got to realize it is all inside of you. Yeah. You don't need to keep going outside of you. But if that's the step that's going to get you there, to realize that, do that, but open your eyes to the fact that it's all in you anyway.
100%. Do it with eyes open. And if at first you can't, then okay, those things are there for a reason.
Yes.
But like you say, it's important to be aware of where our attachments are in life. And there's certainly a lot of attachment in the spiritual community, like a feeling that we need all of these crystals, or we need all of X, Y, and Z in order to be
something,
yeah,
be the label that we've
exactly.
decided. Yeah.
So we what we really want to do in this life is to choose with intention without attachment.
Yes.
And that can be easier said than done. I get it. Like, and I still move through, like, I'm not coming from a place of like I'm fully at peace. I'm not like a Buddha inside, like I'm just human. I have moments where I have attachments to things, or I soothe with things, or I like don't look at my emotions or project. Like, I do all the things, but I'm trying more and more to catch those moments and to have more awareness and intention around them.
And that's what it's all about, because, I always say we're not here to like outdo ourselves or each other, because just because we've got the tools doesn't mean like we're so evolved that we don't need them. And this is what I love teaching people. This is what, like, the whole point of this podcast is in life, and is we're not chasing enlightenment. We're chasing life.
Well, otherwise we just have stayed in source, right?
Yeah.
We've chosen a human experience on this planet, which means we feel all things.
All of them.
We've chosen it.
Yeah.
And so we're not meant to be in this perpetual state of trying to just always be in the ether. We're here for a human experience, and that's all of it. That's all of it. The good, bad, the pretty, the ugly, all of it.
Exactly. And this is what I get. I wake up every morning and I love life. Like, I genuinely love life. I'm like, the sun's out, the sky is blue. I haven't even had coffee before I get the excitement on. Every time, I'm driving to school in the car with the children, I'm like, what are you grateful for today? Like, my daughter said this morning, she's like, I don't know. And she's like, I can't think of anything. I was like, do you need a hand? I'm like, let's just start to go through a few things here. Like, what's happening around you that you have just got an abundance of?
Yeah.
And it's usually like even my son's like, I'm so grateful that I get to go to school and see my friends. And that's such a beautiful thing. Like, he's nearly 9. And to I guess to instill into children to be grateful and to embrace all of life.
Yeah.
That every single emotion, there's no such thing as a good or a bad emotion. It's just an emotion. It's just a feeling. It's a sensation in the body. And to deny ourselves the fullest experience of that is to deny ourselves the fullest experience of life.
I agree with you completely. So this week we've removed iPads from the home. It's like, man. It's been interesting. We made a conscious decision that we wanted to bring more presence into our life. And
beautiful.
This is not coming from a place of judgment of any choices. Every home is different. But and you know what? They might have them again next month. I don't know. But for now, we are working on bringing more presence away from screens into the home. And what we actually noticed was a lot more big emotions from my oldest son, because there wasn't the space to just go and distract and suppress. So we've had a big week in the house with that. But we've also done more stuff as a family. So like of an evening, we've gone down to the beach and like watched the sunset. And what you were saying around everyone experiencing life to its fullest. And I was looking around the beach earlier this week as the sun was going down, and I saw how differently each of, like, because I've got 2 boys and my husband, so each of the boys was experiencing life and gratitude in that moment. And I looked to my youngest son, and he was playing in the ocean. He's a Pisces. And
say no more.
So he was just literally speaking to the ocean and splashing and playing with it. And then I looked to my oldest son. He's a Gemini. He was forward flipping on the beach and like racing and like rolling in the sand and like,
I love it,
all the things. And then I saw my husband like just walking, and like he had a glass of wine, and he was just like in the awe of life. And in that moment, I really realized the potency of stepping outside of what we're used to, the sort of how we can get overly into routines and what we could be missing out on. So yeah, it was pretty cool to see how everyone was experiencing gratitude in life just from that not simple, big change we've made this week. And even if it only lasted this week, like I've got gratitude for that because it's brought us back to a place of more neutrality in our home.
Yeah, beautiful. We because my kids they don't have iPads, they've got those Nintendo Switch games. And we just made a rule. Like we were like, no devices during the week.
Yeah.
And that's the same as the TV as well.
Yeah.
And they can have access to it on weekends if we're home and about. And I'm really mindful. Like, and that's the thing, again, no judgment to those that want to, give screens to kids, go nuts, because every family is different. You know, different things work for different people. But I just found that the kids were just kind of just slumped and playing their game or just watching a show. And it's like, there is so much more.
Yes.
There's so much more to life than just being in front of those things. And my son's really into the Minecraft game. And he's like, Mom, look at this world I built. And he's really in it. And it's like, okay, it's time to come out of that for a bit. We need to have a really decent break from that and just go and experience life. And we're so blessed here, especially in Southeast Queensland where we live, that we have beaches, we have rainforest walks, we have bushes, like that. There's just so much to do in nature. And I think kids are missing that these days. I think, kids aren't experiencing the outdoors. Like, I don't know about you growing up in the UK, but for me growing up, like school holidays, man, I was out all day riding my bikes, like sun up to sundown.
Oh, I was telling my son about this the other day. He laughed because I was like, I was around when the internet was invented.
Yeah.
And I said, do you know what I did before the internet was invented? I used to build nests for birds that they would never use. And he was like, that's lame, Mum, or whatever it was. And I was like, at the time, I didn't think it was lame. I was connected to planet. Even if no bird ever slept in that twig file.
The intention was there.
The energy was there. It was given back to the planet. It was an energetic exchange between myself and the land. And I had a respect and a gratitude for the land from such a young age. And I think and that was creative and expressive even from a young age, right? And so I think I'm hoping that by removing these devices a bit and to like spend more time in nature, that the kids have more of that gratitude. And not only that, but they have more space to authentically express themselves, whether that's, playing outdoors, riding a bike, singing, writing poetry, whatever it is.
Yeah. And I think we get to teach our kids these things, and so we do what's called a happy sandwich at the dinner table. So we do, we go say one thing that made us happy for the day, something that made us sad or angry, and another happy thing to smush them together like a sandwich. Then we say what we're grateful for.
Yeah.
Then we do acknowledgements of each other, so something that we recognize in each other.
Yeah.
Then we do our intention for tomorrow, where there's room for growth, and what's on our heart. Spot the coach in the room.
Wow, what a beautiful intention!
It's really beautiful because we just do it around the table at the end of our meal. And even my son last night was like, "Oh, can we do a happy sandwich?" And I want to go first. Like usually he's kind of like, "Oh, I don't really want to do it tonight." And it's not a forced thing, but it's a really beautiful way to just drop into reflection of the day, drop into acknowledging something about each other. And it's really beautiful to notice what the kids notice in each other for themselves, or what they notice about me. So it's usually, I really want to acknowledge you, Mum, for making really nice food. Like that's what means a lot to them. Or like driving us to school, or making sure we've got a home, And it's really beautiful. And had they had dinner in front of the TV, because we never have the TV on at dinner time, like it just wouldn't be the same. And so we get to create these rituals or these experiences for our children to feel, because they're so overstimulated in the traditional school system anyway, which I think is another conversation we can have.
How much time have we got?
Keep going. We can go there.
Yeah, my husband's actually a teacher, but we've really had some big discussions around what we want to prioritize in our kids' education lately. And I'm copying and pasting that, what you just talked about, that, practice of an evening.
Yeah.
And I think that what we would ultimately love to do is pack up our bags and just go traveling for 6 months or 12 months in school of life, baby.
School of life. I know so many people that do that, and I would love to do that. I'd have to have some big conversations with the kid's dad, because we are separated and we've got, very sort of different style of parenting.
Yeah.
But even if it was a month,
yeah,
even if it was just, a few weeks off to just go and experience life. Everything else can actually wait.
Yeah.
Everything else, there is, catch up time to do, but to get them in this age that they're in, where they're absorbing things still and they're making sense of the world, and to put them in something, to put them in an experience that is outside of just the copy and paste day-to-day stuff.
Totally.
So important.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Would you take a caravan or a bus?
Well, for someone who I think you mentioned before we started recording hadn't camped I hadn't camped until I met my partner, although I had camped, but in England, which is basically just a tent in a field. And slightly different experience. So I had a bit of a morphed view of what camping was. We've got a pretty good camping setup, which I absolutely love. My husband took me once to camping under the stars in the hinterland at the Sunshine Coast, and I was a convert immediately. So now we do a lot of that whenever we can. But I mean, an RV or a caravan or something like that, where we could do an extended trip and be, relatively comfortable, and still get to all the places. That would be the dream.
Yeah. And this is the thing, it's possible. Even just talking about it has really inspired me. I'm like, why don't I just organize it?
Next minute.
What's actually stopping me? And everything is figure outable, I say.
Yeah, that's
you
right.
can figure it out, and the kids would love that.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll see you on the road. Maybe we'll pass it. Hey guys,
we did it.
We did, absolutely. Before we wrap this up, I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
Dom, to you, what is the meaning of life?
Oh, so I think we kind of covered it already, and I think it's to splat, baby.
To splat, yes.
I think that we take that energy that we are given, that we can co-create with all of the different stories and co-creations going on in our life, and it's to splat, who cares who's looking.
I love that. That is so inspiring, because now I've got this visual as well. So next content or something that I paint, I'm like, pew, pew. And that's the thing, make it colorful, make it designer, baby.
Yeah, and don't overthink it too much.
Yeah. You have been such an incredible guest. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to link to everything in the show notes. So how do people get into your field, either work with you, come to your events? Tell us a bit about that.
Look, my main place that I hang out on the internet is Instagram. So you can find me at Dom Kimber Creative or dom.kimber, both of those pages. One is my sort of personal, more family stuff, and one's all the busy content stuff. But you'll find all of the event info there. We tend to have them every couple of months on the coast. So,
amazing. I'm definitely going to be there at one of them.
Amazing.
For sure. Thank you so much for being here and being part of the Enlightened podcast.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Awesome. And thanks, guys, for tuning in. We'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode. I hope you love the Enlightened podcast, and the biggest compliment you can give me is subscribing to this podcast, sharing it, and leaving a rating and review. Feel free to follow me on Instagram. My handle is @JenHamiltonOfficial, and the podcast handle is Enlightened_podcast. You can also find the video version on YouTube on my channel. Just search Enlightened, and don't forget to hit subscribe. Have a beautiful day and enjoy living the enlightened journey of life.